Today we're going over the interesting Emblem and Mythic Hero banner for September 2025 in Fire Emblem Heroes. We'll cover the 2 new units, plus talk about the 10 other units on the banner. Attuned Realm makes a lot more sense now because this month's new emblem is Corrin. Sorry, Riot fans. Real quick, before we get into it, I just want to comment that this selection makes the December emblem spot real interesting. Because Faye wants to make money, the December monthly banner is almost always a popular lady. Many thought Corrin or Lucina would fit that build this year. Now since Corrin is here, that would usually mean Emblem Lucina would be locked in for December, but she just got it all herself, so I don't know where that leaves us. Either they're gonna have to pick a dude, or they're gonna dip into the DLC Emblem Bracelets, which means Edelgard, Camilla, Tiki, or Veronica. I'm already kinda mentally prepared for the DLC route, to be honest. Just something to consider as the holidays roll in. Now back on track, because we don't have enough Sword Lords, Emblem Corrin finally gets Yato. This is the first female Corrin alt to wield Yato in Fae. As we will see shortly, Emblem Corrin is kinda like Brave Corrin too. She is not infantry, Corrin's an armor unit. We didn't see her stats, but expect another high speed armor. In terms of ult skills, Corrin has none. I'm not sure this is the first time, but Corrin has 2 unique skills and then 3 new inheritable ones, so we got a lot to cover. Corrin's Sword of Fate states, at start of either phase, if within 2 spaces of an ally, grant Draconic Hex and the 50% DR piercing status to Corrin and those allies. Corrin gets Slang and Distant Counter. If near 3 allies or she triggers Savior, Corrin can get plus 14 to all stats. This weapon also gives 20% res true damage and Excel type flat DR. Basically, double the flat DR against special procs. Last, Corrin will get no follow-up. Sword of Fate is relatively simple. Draconic Hex provides stat debuffs and Corrin stacks more stats with true damage and flat DR. She has no follow-up, so she should be very fast, and Corrin's got Distant Counter to use with her Savior skills. Corrin's unique special is her engage attack, Torrential Roar. It's a 3-cooldown iceberg special scaling off 60% res. It comes with no guard for constant charging, and then Corrin gets 40% unpierceable damage reduction for all hits taken. Now if Corrin has higher res, she decreases the speed roll for herself to double and increases it for the enemy to double by X during combat. This X value is simply the difference between res stats and can max out at 10. Corrin basically has got a mini res version of Frozen. If Corrin has 10 or more res, she only needs to be within 5 speed of the foe to double, and the foe needs 15 or more speed to double Corrin. It's a very nice ability. Now for the big new perk, at start of enemy phase, minus Pawns of Loki, if there are no Divine Vein Icicle tiles from Corrin's team, then she applies Icicle Terrain to tiles 2 spaces away from both herself and her target ally. This target ally will be Corrin's support partner or the highest defense unit from the start of the battle. You cannot get cute with multiple supports or highest defense allies. If you do, the entire effect will not work. Now in addition, Corrin applies Divine Vein Vert Terrain to all tiles within 4 spaces. This excludes the spaces with the Icicle Terrain. Torrential Roar is a solid special with 40% DR, no guard, and some speed roll changes if Corrin outreses the enemy. This skill also introduces 2 new Divine Vein effects. Well, they aren't brand new. Icicle is an upgrade over Ice Terrain, and Vert is an upgrade over Green Terrain. Corrin will set up the Ice Fort 2 spaces away. Her target ally also deploys the Icicles. Now every other space within 4 spaces of these units will get the Vert tiles. Icicle Terrain is mostly the same as Ice Terrain. It's a makeshift destroyable structure, but if you destroy the Icicle tile, it now gets replaced with a Vert Terrain. Divine Vein Vert is a lot more powerful than Green. Green Terrain prevents warping in and out and inflicting guard on the foe. Vert Terrain does the same, but now foes in combat also lose -5 attack and speed, and get inflicted with Scowl if they're running an offensive special. After combat, Vert inflicts Content Control, which is pretty nasty. Now it is very tough to see from the trailer, but the general idea is that Corrin sets up the Icicles within 2 spaces. The Vert tiles cover 4 spaces, meaning if you destroy the Icicle, you're going to be in range to get hit with Content Control after. Some things to note, Corrin won't stop Pass Warpers or Legendary Socket as salvage. The Icicles can slow down those high movement foes though. When it comes to Corrin's Emblem Ring, it's basically her Divine Vein perks. Like usual, special damage is increased based on max cooldown value. Every enemy phase, you set up the Icicle Fort within 2 spaces. The user then deploys Vert tiles within 3 spaces. The only difference is that the ring version will not cover ranged foes who attack the Icicle Terrain. They can still Kanto out no problem. Other than that though, you basically get the same Divine Vein setup. While it may not protect you from those Pass Warpers, at least Vert tiles can come with Scowl and some extra debuffs now. After all that, Corrin still has 3 new inheritable skills. First, from Engage, Corrin brings over Pair Up. It's a little bit of a mishmash of effects. If unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, inflict -4 attack and speed. Increase the speed roll for the foe to double by 10, neutralize stat debuffs, and deal 15 true damage. Normally, you also get 10 flat DR, but if the foe has brave attacks, you get 17 flat DR. In addition, if it's the enemy phase, you get even more flat damage reduction equal to the distance from the unit and the foe times 2. In Engage, the pair-up skill disabled enemy chain attacks, which was pretty good. Naturally in Fey, it's a more defensive skill. You're harder to double, you neutralize debuffs, and you get a good amount of flat damage reduction. Against ranged brave attackers, you can get like 21 flat DR if it's the enemy phase. Pair 4 is usable by infantry and army units. With the speed roll effect, this skill does seem tailored more for fast units, and it has consistent true damage and flat DR bonuses. The extra flat DR against brave hits will also be nice, especially with the new hot skill, Arch Rival. Next, Corrin has Torrential Boost. This is another armor-only boost aid skill that gives +5 HP. If foe initiates or the user has more than half health, you get 7 attack, speed, and res, and heal at 7 HP after combat. Another variation for the stat boosters, if you don't care about attack, you may still want Primordial Boost from the dual Corrins. All the other slower armors will still want Deluvio Boost from Fallen Alir. Last new skill is Speed and Res Briar M Save. Similar to Brave Ichthyr's physical save skill, this is a magical damage save skill. If mages, healers, or dragons attack an ally within 2 spaces, you trigger Savior. Against those foes, you get +4 speed and res, disable adaptive damage, you gain 5 flat DR, and you get the 40% damage reflection effect. If you want to save against magic damage only, then this is the skill for you instead of using Ichthyr's magic save status. Aside from neutralizing adaptive damage, this is just another Briar save skill. All in all, Corrin's gonna give the whole armor savior role another try. Instead of setting up stone terrain, she's laying down icicle and vert terrain to mess with movement and special cooldown. Corrin has the usual 40% unpierceable DR and then quite a lot of flat DR sources. She also makes it so foes need 25 or more speed to double her if she has 10 or more res. I am assuming Corrin will have to sacrifice a little bit of defense this time, but that's fine because she has magic save. She doesn't have Null Disrupt or Hardy Bearing, but Corrin will be a menace if you can't outspeed her. As usual, I think any Emblem hero is worth getting just for their Emblem Ring effect. If you want a way to deploy icicles or at least cancel out something like Young Camilla's Divine Veins, then this is an option. Do be careful of the new upgraded vert terrain. Unless you have Legendary Sakura, the contour control effect will be pretty annoying if you try to clear the icicles first. The second new hero for this banner is both a surprise and not that surprising at the same time. If you haven't heard any Fire Emblem news within like the last 5 days, then you missed the announcement of the Fire Emblem Heroes and Umu Musume collab. Okay, not really, but it wouldn't be the first time Fire Emblem and Cygames collab, so you never know. Instead, there is a new Fire Emblem game. Fortune's Weave is old news, we're moving on to Fire Emblem Shadows. Shadows is a new mobile title that involves real-time tactical combat with a werewolf/Among Us type deception aspect. You fight with 2 allies and you gotta suss out who the traitor is. For some reason, everyone in Shadows is animal themed, so Lyn is a horse girl. That somehow translates into Shadow Lyn being a mythic hero. I don't know, man, I just talk about the game. I assume this crossover means we'll get an actual Shadows banner. For now though, Mythic Lyn is a light mythic that boosts resistance. She's going to be a green beast cavalier. Yes, you heard that right. For stats from the trailer, Lyn seemed to have 40 HP, 46 attack, 49 speed, 36 defense, and 24 res. Typical offensive spread. For old skills, Lyn has Nimble Beast and Bestial Agility for the contour plus no follow-up. Along with the Kimono Mimi animalized characters, Shadows' main feature is that everyone has a darker side where they literally unleash the beast. Lyn is a full-on centaur, and if you've seen Fairy Dimitri, then you can bet your orbs he'll be in Fae at some point too. Lyn's weapon is the Winds of Duality. Reminder, she's a beast unit. At start of turn, if with 25% health, Lyn inflicts exposure plus speed and defense shackle on the closest foes and foes within 2 spaces. Lyn has Sling, and if transformed or on high HP, she gets up to plus 14 to all stats if there are 3 foes within 3 rows or columns. If decreasing the speed roll by 10 would allow Lyn to get a follow-up, she gets a 100% potent hit. Lyn then gets true damage and flat DR equal to advantageous statuses in the fight. You can get 25 true damage and 15 flat DR with 5 of those statuses. Along with some nice support perks, Lyn's main aspect is that 100% potent hit like her emblem form. You get 2 more statuses to max out her true damage and flat DR effects. Now Lyn's unique A skill is Reject Tyranny. She gains a new transformation condition that checks for any foe within 3 rows or columns. Like the Fortune skills, Lyn can also transform immediately on Aether Raid's defense. Each turn, Lyn can hand out a 50% DR piercing status to allies within 2 spaces. She also hands out a new range 2 style status to herself and melee allies. For combat, Lyn gets +8 to all stats with an additional +X. She has no guard and essentially Creation Pulses effect. If the foe has 2 negative statuses, Lyn can get -10 instant cooldown. Last, she gets more true damage and Excel type flat DR equal to X times 4. X is just the number of spaces moved by the initiator. Generally speaking, more support, more true damage, more flat DR, and more stats. No guard with Creation Pulse is pretty good, so Lyn can activate Nimble Beast immediately. She might be able to trigger it on her potent hit as well. For the new range 2 style, it's pretty much what it says on the box. Like Attuned Roma, Lyn can attack from 2 spaces out. Again, she's a melee beast unit. This status lets her use her bow for a ranged attack. The usual restrictions for the ranged style attacks apply here, except since Lyn hands out a status, there are some new rules. If an ally already has a style, they cannot use this range 2 style, and will keep their own style instead. After any combat with this style used, it also gets removed after. I believe that should allow dual and harmonic units to use their skills after combat, although I'm not 100% sure on that. Anywho, if you want your melee units to initiate from range, then you can with Mythic Lyn. If you see this unit on the enemy team, you need to be pretty careful. The entire enemy team of melee units just got +1 range. AoE specials do work with Violet and I assume Roma, so expect that to work with Lyn's effect too. Moving on, Lyn thankfully has one new inheritable C skill, Dark Beast Force. Inflict -4 speed and defense on the foe, disable all skills besides the one on the foe in combat, neutralize stat debuffs on the user, and last deal 5 true damage per hit. Dark Beast Force should be a side grade to Preempt Screech. I assume it also builds out a colorless feud, but we'll see. Compared to Preempt Screech, you lose the instant cooldown, but you gain debuff neutralization and 5 true damage. Not exactly an upgrade, depends on what your beast unit has access to already. The main effect of this skill line is just getting feud on all color types. Mythic Lyn will be an interesting unit. She's going to get extra stats and skill options of melee beasts, but can initiate from range. With her debuffs, Lyn uses her Creation Pulse effect to charge Nimble Beast. She can use the 40% DR and flat DR to tank hits, and then with the 100% potent follow-up, Lyn can get a second Nimble Beast proc. Now, Bestial Agility gives no follow-up with Kanto, and Lyn provides excellent offensive support. With her range style for melee units, that should make Lyn a nice light mythic to run. Imagine someone like Sigurd just moving 5 spaces and then using a ranged override AoE. I guess we'll have to wait and see what Shadows does with its new unit additions. If we're getting Lyn, there's no way we aren't getting Dimitri. I assume Shadows is also going to get some kind of Fey banner of its own characters, so be prepared for that. I wonder if they're going to make a mark on CYO. Moving on to the 10 other heroes on the banner, the red group has the new Emblem Corrin, Legendary Black Knight, and Ryamachua. Blue has Athos, Restvelger, and Lumera. Green has the new Mythic Lyn, Attuned Tharja, and Attuned Ancient Tiki. Colorless has Mythic Loki, the regular pool Fima Grima, and then Agent Naga. We talked about Emblem Corrin enough. If you want Torrential Boost, Pair Up, or the Briar Magic Save, then you're going to need this Corrin. The 2 armor skills can go together, although they also can use Pair Up. We'll not be able to get everything at once though. For Legendary Black Knight, I believe this is his first rerun. If you played any competitive mode in the last 4 months, you should know what he's all about. BK is a tanky sword armor that has no C disrupt and hardy bearing if it wins a defense check. He primes his powerful, not Eclipse special with Counter Fighter, which gives 50% unpierceable DR. Black Knight then provides Imbue for tons of instant healing and Reflex for full damage reflection on the next counterattack. He has Distant Attack and Defense Form for distant counter, and Attack and Defense Briar Far Save for even more damage reflection. Even though everyone has been gearing up to take down Black Knight, his Imbue and Reflex support is still quite valuable to have. For Ryamachua, she's also back with her first rerun. If you want the 3rd Arcane Renegade Sword, then it provides the usual Slaying, Preempt Pulse, True Damage, and Flat DR. It also provides attack and speed and on-hit healing support as well. To stand out, Machua's B skill has Times Pulse 4 and lets her give DR piercing and dodge support. She gets advantage with more true damage and flat damage reduction. Machua has excellent fodder for infantry with Gust, D bonus doubler, and attack and speed Faith, all fun skills with this new arcane weapon. In the blue group, Anima Mythic Athos is a high-tech res mage who provides instant cooldown support to allies from long range. Athos himself is pretty bulky with 80% regular DR if foes double him. He hates other mages and gets effective damage, vantage, and +10 attack against them in spell-slinging matchups. Athos will get +10 flat stats, which will help proc attack and res Discord for debuffs. He also activates Pulse Employ for more penalties and free cooldown. Athos can ready his 4 cooldown DR Piercing Frost Moon pretty much immediately. Next, Light Mythic Hraesvelgr is a speedy blue flying beast unit. She provides speed and defense debuffing, exposure, the anti-miracle status, and plus for movement to various classes. Hraesvelgr also has an at start of turn penalty cleanse and deals 1 damage to her team. For combat, she has no follow-up, 50% DR piercing, 40% regular DR, and then Excelv type flat DR. Her true damage ability is very dangerous since it has uncapped scaling based on the total number of statuses around her target. For skills, Fortune makes transforming easier, Speed and Defense near trace gives Kanto, and then Nimble Bees adds that unpierceable % DR plus good damage. The third blue unit is Light Mythic Lumera. This alt is a blue infantry dragon with high speed. Lumera provides stone terrain in a wide area, plus 4 stats and no guard support. Her kit is also support focused with Rally Defensive Res and then attack and speed Ruse 4. For combat, Lumera adds true damage, stacks regular % DR, and adds guard to go with her attack and speed Scowl skill. Still the only unit with these Scowl and Ruse variants. I guess we know where Emblem Sigurd's got his hoarding tendencies. By the way, with this banner's release, it's now been 1 year since Momentum's release as well. The green group has the new Mythic Lyn. If you want Dark Beast Force, then you're gonna need this Lyn. She also can provide the nice speedy beast skills, Nimble Beast and Bestial Agility. Not bad if you were looking for some fodder. Next, Attuned Tharja is a green flying mage with good speed and res. This Tharja supplies Anathema and charge statuses and further buffs allies with stat support and true damage. She can instantly proc Ice Wall with a bunch of instant cooldown, and Tharja gets 60% regular DR, flat DR, and then she can disable enemy specials. Tharja provides further support with speed and res Havoc and Crux Echo. She also has Deadly Miasma for more stat advantages and then the splash damage. Last green unit is Attuned Ancient Tiki. She's a high speed and defense dragon who can provide bulwark and debuff neutralization, as well as cooldown support. Tiki has Tamara's Sandstorm effect, so her damage is very special reliant, but she uses 150% of her defense for calculations. She can pre-charge Dragon Flame before getting hit, which will activate its 40% DR, and then fire back with an Ignis level special. Tiki has some AoE protection, Res Scout Echo, and then Edge Scales to be tougher to double. She also has D-Bonus Doubler for distant counter. Dragon Flame is quite good and only on this Tiki. We just got Flame Wall for 40% DR defense focused specials, but for dragons, Dragon Flame is just flat out better. You can also get Res Scout Echo at the same time, though that will require a res check. Even though she's been present in the story this year, it's been a while since Dark Mythic Loki reran. She's a flying healer with high attack and res. Loki's got Gravity Ploy and then can neutralize statuses if foes have 3 or more and are within 3 rows or columns. It's a pretty strong ability still. Loki will have Kanto 1, slaying and some decent damage. She has more support with Dazzling Discord and Return Plus. You then got Glitter of Light and Attack and Res Catch for pure damage. Female Grima back on the monthly banner colorless pool is nostalgic, but this time instead of Legendary Grima, this is just the regular 5-star pool Grima. She's a colorless armored dragon, min-maxed for low speed. Grima's weapon grants Rally Spectrum and follow-up denial statuses. She has guard to go with her defense and res Scowl, and then stacks true damage and flat DR with Wily Fighter. Grima is the only unit with Armored Glacier, which is the armor 40% DR special for melee threats and scales off res. She also has attack and res Briar near save for damage reflection and then more flat DR. Last, Ancient Naga is a flying colorless dragon with good defense and res. She can apply the rare Frozen status along with guard. Naga has guidance warping for her team and hands out dragon effectiveness, neutralizes dragon effectiveness, and has empathy. She also has slaying plus protect cooldown along with some true damage and flat DR effects. For fodder, Dragon's Roar is the 40% DR dragon special that requires a res check. Naga's got attack and res Scowl 4 and then is still the only unit with attack and res near trace 4. A bit niche, but it's an option for the dragon calves and flyers out there. That will be it for this monthly banner. Intelligent Systems still hasn't deviated from the every 3-month Emblem Hero schedule, but they have been throwing some curveball picks. Corrin is in, and then we got the surprise shadow drop of Fire Emblem Shadows. Not really surprised that their version of Lyn is getting an alt in Fae, but her being a Mythic unit is kinda strange to say the least. Let me know your thoughts on the new units, and good luck with your summons. I personally will be going for a copy of Emblem Corrin myself, but you know, I wouldn't mind getting the new Lyn if it happens. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.